you can empathise with, I think, with relatives, but you can never say you understand how they're feeling unless you've been through that. And everyone's, even if you haven't been through it, everyone's experience is going to be so different. But what you can do is listen and acknowledge. And I find myself, I'm just there some days, just there to listen, because that's what you get called. Can you look at a wheelchair? Can I ask you about this? And it doesn't always necessarily become, the conversation isn't actually about the wheelchair. It's about, we just want to say this. And I think it's being there to do that.
I've had some really positive experiences with families. Some with patients who have made when I say a good recovery, have maybe not progressed physically, but to a level where we're able to get some kind of consistent communication. And they've been really positive, and I think having good family involvement, and when I say good, it's kind of open lines of communication, families who take on board what we're saying, and I feel able to ask questions and have an understanding of what realistically what we're able to do. I think working with families around sort of setting goals helps, because it looks at, or it tries to shape their expectations. I think the hardest thing has been working with families who have such high expectations that are not going to be achieved. That is, I think, really heartbreaking and really difficult to manage, when families are constantly trying to look for things or see things that we
that's always my fear, is that the team doesn't unite and present a consistent kind of picture of their loved one. Because I think as a relative that would be really hard if you've got a member of a team saying, I asked him a question and he said yes, and when I go in he always smiles at me, or he knows I'm there. It's a hard thing to then for somebody else in the team to say, actually, I haven't seen that, or I don't think that is the case. And I think that no team that I've worked in has managed that brilliantly.
Of course, there's 100 voices speaking in behalf of the resident, so I have to ask every member of team from different day observations on the earth, and gather them together and then put into the communicative way. And I think it's also different between families and between NDT professionals, because families understand them that they wish to see even the smallest sign and turn them into something that it will be reliable as a communication thing. We as a professionals, knowing the background of the physiology, we know what is an autonomous reaction and what is conscious reaction, and sometimes they can't be so easily distinguished, and we have to find, is it exactly true communication or it's just reaction, because we do experience these reactions as people who don't have any problems with that, and we still have this physiological reaction when we a stretch or yawn, so everything goes and it's over control of our body, which somebody from the family might look into somebody, member a member of a family in bed and having this reaction. They can say that somebody moved the leg, somebody moved the arm. For me, that would be the best what I could see, but it's not. We have to be very easy. What's the word? Very balanced about that. Very careful saying this.
A conversation with someone's mum, who, she was fully aware that this was not a good diagnosis, and in fact the prognosis wasn't particularly good either. And she just said, she goes, I just want to be able to tell her daughters we tried everything. And that stayed with me, and I thought, yes, actually, people have come for specialist assessment. We might not be changing the outcome, this may be a long-term condition for this person. Things may never change for this person, but you want to have looked at everything. You know, are they tracking? Do they have moments where they respond to sound? Is there something there that, you know, can just make sure it perhaps modifies how we approach them, how we care for them, or what, you know, what activities we give them to stimulate them to, you know, to keep treating them as the person that they are, who had previous likes, who had previous hobbies, who had things they loved, music they hated, you know. I think you have to approach the person as still being there, you know, and so if just leaving classic FM on all day because you think they need, you know, a nice bit of music, when actually they never like classical music, it matters, you know. I think you have to get it right, you have to take the time, and that's where working with the family is so important.